When it comes to video games, we all have our preferences. One of them being something universal. That one thing is difficulties. And that is no different for Geometry Dash. GD has a total of 11 difficulties, excluding NA, starting from 1-star auto all the way up to a 100 list extreme demon. But one question always comes to mind: what is the best difficulty? And is there one that I and the community hate to death? Well, that's what I wanted to try and find out in this video. The way this will go is I will talk about each difficulty and share my thoughts on it. Once that's done, I'll declare the definitive worst and best difficulty. Obviously, all of this is just my opinion. Feel free to share yours in the comments, and without further ado, let's get started. The first difficulty in discussion, as previously mentioned, is going to be auto, which in-game equates to 1 star. You also get no mana orbs, so they're kinda useless, but I'm getting too ahead of myself. An auto level typically consists of no inputs needed into the player, and is usually made to showcase some cool mechanics, visuals, and most likely some good old music sync. I never really play an auto level unless I really need to quickly star grind, but that was back then. Now I tend to grind 4 to 5 star levels, as they are still pretty easy and give you more rewards for beating them. I tend to only want to play auto levels when I'm doing another task while playing GD, for example eating lunch and sitting back and enjoying the show. But other than that, if the level is longer than a minute, then I find myself getting bored. Maybe it's just our generation's screwed attention span, but I'd rather play something that'll actually be worth my time. I guess you could say this would be the worst difficulty, but I think auto levels are mostly harmless, and are usually there for beginner players who want to star grind. So that is my auto review, and time to move on to an actual difficulty. The next difficulty is easy, which in-game equates to 1 to 2 stars, if we include RobTop levels, although those are treated differently than online user-made levels. For most easy levels, especially nowadays, the difficulty could almost be interchangeable with auto, most of the time. This annoys me, but if we're looking at it as a whole, then easy ain't too bad. Back on Track is one of RobTop's best levels, and that one is rated easy. I also enjoy some others, like the infamous Retray, with tons of safeguards. Some easy levels, especially ones from anything below 1.5, are actually pretty difficult. Like half of these should be 4 stars, surely. At the end of the day, easy levels are supposed to be there for newer players whose skill levels are shorter than my height. Geometry Dash. But no, for real, these levels can be fun. But I think the modernized easy levels are too close and spacious inputs that need slow songs and pastel colors to make you feel calm. Don't get me wrong, I know those aren't necessarily bad levels, but if creators don't make them almost auto, then they are bound to get a hit with a 3 star. Speaking of 3 stars, I think now's a good time to move on to the next difficulty. Let's see what we got. The next difficulty to come after easy is normal, equating to only 3 stars for some reason. These levels offer a good balance between entry-level players and a serious star grinder who also wants to have a good time. Don't get me wrong, I am aware some levels are slow and input nothingness, but that is more of a result of RobTop not giving the level the easy rating it requested. But if we were to use that as a primary statistic, then we'd be here a while. For me, normal levels have a good sense of awesomeness, and usually have good decorations to make up for otherwise uninteresting gameplay, similar to auto levels, but here you are actually doing something. If we're talking about the RobTop levels, then I'd say that Polargeist and Dryout respectively are great levels, showing what normal levels can have, even if I think Polargeist should be rated easy. Another thing I feel works with normal levels is that everybody can enjoy them, and it usually doesn't matter what your skill level is, unless you literally just started playing. It does suck that normal is only stuck as a single star difficulty, and has really no range, but some normal levels I find feel more like a 4 star than its own thing. At least this one is able to feel harder than what it's rated. That's kind of all I have to say about normal. There isn't too much special about it, but nothing's really dragging it down either, unless we're delving into the memes here. I think that's it. On to the next one. The next difficulty we need to talk about is hard, which in-game equates to 4 to 5 stars and offers a unique clash of easy and difficult gameplay into one, canceling each other out and creating this monstrosity. Hard online levels tend to be the most commonly seen difficulty, as they are not too hard to make and don't require tons of knowledge when going to play one. You at least need to know each game mode and portal. For RobTop levels, I'd say the hard difficulty definitely gets the worst of it. I think base after base should be normal, and that Can't Let Go is a good spot, but but base after base, man, I just don't like it. Anyway, that's not the point. I think for me, hard is a fantastic difficulty. Unlike other games where hard is usually where it peaks, in GD, this is sort of the middle ground for the difficulties. Not too hard, not too easy. It creates a really nice Goldilocks zone for the game, which is why I assume that is the most common difficulty for online levels, including gauntlets and map packs, although we don't talk about map packs. Say what you will about it, but I think hard is the best difficulty so far. Not just because that's my skill level, but because I think they offer a lot. In both visuals and gameplay, I think hard is strong in. And while it may not be the most challenging difficulty so far, trust me, it's about to get much harder. You see what I did there? The next difficulty is harder, which in-game equates to 6 to 7 stars, and a good amount of mana orbs to go alongside that. These levels tend to be pretty difficult and can range anywhere from easy, insane levels to hard levels. For the RobTop levels with this difficulty rating, certain levels come to mind that actually fit this rating, like Jumper, Cycles, and Geometrical Dominator. I still think Jumper and Blast Processing should be hard rated. When it comes to online levels, I remember reading somewhere that harder had the most user levels under its belt, so it's a pretty popular difficulty to base your level around. In my opinion, these levels can be really fun, offering a great challenge while also maintaining the barrier for newer players. For the noob, harder seems kind of impossible, but are doable if you decide to practice it. In terms of gameplay, I think these levels are really fun. Some can be a little funky, but overall they have some cool aspects to them. I really like it when levels introduce their own unique mechanics, that's always fun. And now with the decoration isn't afraid to be more in your face, but there's still some boundaries that they have to keep in mind. Usually it's by this point when creators really need to know what difficulty they want to make before they make the level. Before, they could just bum around until they decided what fit the cool name they chose for it. Definitely not what I do. Yeah, I like harder as a difficulty, although it might still prefer hard. Grinding for stars and getting lucky with an easy 6 star is always a nice treat, and the rewards are pretty insane. Speaking of which, the next difficulty is insane. I mean, Easy Demon. Insane equates to an 8 to 10 star. I thought it just went up to 9 stars, but apparently not, since RobTop levels have that. And some Easy Demons can be misrated. You know what, let's just rate it and equate it to 8 to 9 stars. For the RobTop levels, there are a lot of insane levels. These levels include X-Step, Clutterfunk, TOE 1, Electroman Adventures, Electrodynamics, Hexagon Force, Finger Dash, and Dash. Man, that's a lot of levels. Some of those levels, such as X-Step, don't exactly feel that insane compared to online insanes. However, Electrodynamics should definitely be a demon rating. Speaking of online levels, a lot of insane difficulties can be swapped out with easy demons, and there would be no difference within the level. Since they are so close to easy demons, playing them can be rather difficult. I always pray to find a more chill insane, as those feel way closer to the harder difficulty. I think that there should be a new difficulty in between insane and easy demon, called extreme, as that would go in line with the demon names. Fight me on that. Insane levels are pretty fun to play, but sometimes in this modern age, a lot of decorations can get in the way of eyesight, or even telling what is a spike and what isn't. Also, yeah, this difficulty was not made for entry-level users, and you definitely need to be way more skilled to beat these things. But I will say this, if you can get really good, and I mean really good, then you can easily use insane levels to star grind. It's a pretty big advantage, as you're now playing a challenging game still and beating them less than 10 attempts to the point where the end of day rewards will be, well, insane. Because of that, insane might be one of the best difficulties. And because it's not a demon, they are still somewhat approachable. On to the next one. Now, we are onto the demon subratings. Easy Demon is the first demon rating and the 7th difficulty overall. In-game, it equates to a crisp 10 stars, and are usually pretty difficult and the first demon anyone beats. For the RobTop levels, they only use the default demon, which is also the hard demon, so I can't say exactly why that sub-rating they would be, but if I had to guess, I'd say each one gets harder and then goes up to hard demon and deadlock. Online easy demons are quite strange actually. You have some pretty easy ones like the Lightning Road, Platinum Adventure, and the Nightmare. All of these are still difficult, don't get me wrong, but they aren't so bad compared to what the game offers later down the line. In my opinion, easy demons are pretty fun and can also kinda suck, since beating them gives you the same rewards as being an extreme demon. Seriously, they need to fix that. Anyway, there really isn't much else to say. Sometimes this difficulty can feel like they should be taken out of demon territory and rated insane, while others may think that they should be moved up to medium demon. These levels are pretty fun to play, but they are still made so you have to practice them, so they are nowhere near entry level at all, unless you find yourself being the GOAT from the jump. That's all for Easy Demon. Time to move on to its older brother. The Medium Demon difficulty is again 10 stars, and these levels tend to be noticeably harder than their predecessors, but also sometimes they feel on par with them. I can't say much about the Rob Top levels from here on out, but for online levels, Medium Demons is the last difficulty that can actually have some fun levels. I know you can still have fun levels later down the line, but this is the last difficulty as a whole. There really isn't much to say about Medium Demons. They are the equivalent to normal, where there isn't really much special about it, but it's still a good difficulty, just tricky to talk about. I'm going to quickly move on, as I have a lot to say about Extreme Demons, and I wouldn't want to add any extra fluff. Hard Demons are the third demon difficulty and act as the midpoint for them, which also equates to 10 stars. Hard Demons use the same default Face Demon, which is an interesting choice. Anyway, these levels tend to be very difficult, but if you're a really good player, you can still beat them if you want to. It would just take lots of practice. Usually, you would jump straight into practice mode to start these, just so your attempt count doesn't look absurd. The decorations by this point can get a little obnoxious. It gets to a point where you can't see what's happening on screen with all the effects, and you can't tell what's in the foreground or background of you, making it tricky to sight read. Hard Demons are truly the last difficulty to be fun, and even this is a stretch. My skill level isn't anywhere near at this difficulty at all, so I can't say a ton about it, but from what I've seen and heard, it only gets more insane from here. Insane Demons are again 10 stars and are a whole different breed of demon. There really isn't much to say beyond the fact that a question keeps coming to mind, that question being, how the heck do people beat these? Don't even call it a skill issue. We reached my skill level a while ago, and this is so far removed you feel like you're playing a sport when attempting these. It was from this point on where things got really bad. Insane Demons don't really blend in with any other demon difficulty because that's how hard it is. I know some levels in this difficulty look cool or have unique gameplay, but even that will save how immensely mentally taxing these levels are. But this isn't the end. Oh no, here we are, the current hardest difficulty in the game, Extreme Demon. Extreme Demons equate to once again 10 stars. Even the mana orb count is still 500. These levels can only be beaten by the best of the best. The reactions on people's faces when they beat these is absolutely a sight to see. People spend months, even years attempting these. Extreme Demon is so far removed from any other difficulty that it takes up essentially an entire top 150 demons list, which has all the hardest levels. And get this, people are saying that they want another demon difficulty? Why? I can see why though, honestly. Levels like Bloodbath are nowhere near the difficulty of ones like Amethyst or Tidal Wave, so those harder ones need a difficulty to separate them from each other. Let's just hope this next one actually gives you more stuff. That's all I have to say for Extreme Demon. If you're new to GD, go watch a video of someone verifying one of these, then you will see what I mean. But for those who know, then you know. So, we went over every difficulty in the game, starting with auto, easy, normal, hard, harder, insane, easy demon, medium demon, hard demon, insane demon, and extreme demon. That's quite a bit. So now the question you've all been waiting for. What is the best and worst difficulty? Well, good thing I'm not a clickbaiter, so I'm about to show you. For the worst difficulty, I think the award goes to Insane Demon. I know you're thinking it should have gone to auto or easy, but no. My reasoning is that they are so difficult, but beating them won't make you seen as one of the greatest players ever. That's the job for Extreme Demons. As for the best difficulty, the award will be going to harder. Wait, what? Even I'm confused. The reason why I chose harder is because it's the perfect forever difficulty. If forever difficulty is a difficulty that you could play and even have fun no matter what your skill level is. And still have some cases where it challenges you, as 7-star harders and 8-star insanes get mixed up often. Well, that was the best and worst difficulties in Geometry Dash. This is obviously just my opinion. Feel free to comment yours in the comments below, and here's my ranking of all difficulties from worst to best. And with that, there's not much else to say, except for the fact that if there was one, the Grandpa Demon would easily take first place.